There is something powerful about a woman who never tries to be loud, yet the world cannot ignore her presence. And that is exactly the quiet force that defines Rebecca Ferguson, a woman who built her empire not by chasing fame but by mastering her craft with relentless discipline and emotional depth. Born in Stockholm, Sweden, Rebecca Louisa Ferguson Sundström never followed the predictable path to Hollywood royalty. Instead, she carried within her a calm confidence shaped by her multicultural background and her mother's strong influence, a woman who taught her early that independence was not optional but essential, long before global audiences recognized her as the unforgettable Ilsa Faust in Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation alongside Tom Cruise. Rebecca was simply a young girl navigating self-doubt, dreaming quietly, and learning how to survive in an industry that often overlooks subtle talent in favor of noise. She did not grow up believing she would dominate international cinema. In fact, like many artists, she wrestled with insecurity, wondering whether her voice, her look, her presence would ever be enough in a world obsessed with perfection. But what makes her story magnetic is not instant success, it is patience, resilience, and the courage to walk away when necessary, even from opportunities that others would cling to desperately. Early in her career, she appeared in Swedish television and smaller productions, building skill brick by brick, understanding that true greatness is constructed slowly, not gifted overnight. Unlike many who crave the spotlight, she valued privacy, protecting her inner world so fiercely that when Hollywood eventually called, she entered not as someone hungry for validation, but as someone already secure in her identity. That quiet security became her weapon. When she stepped into the action-packed world of Mission Impossible, she didn't play a side character. She redefined what a female action lead could be: intelligent, emotionally complex, physically powerful without losing elegance. Audiences felt it immediately. Critics noticed it instantly. She wasn't trying to compete with male energy. She created her own gravity. And that is why her portrayal of Ilsa Faust felt revolutionary, not because she was loud, but because she was real. After that breakthrough, Rebecca Ferguson did not fall into repetition. Instead, she chose depth. In The Greatest Showman, starring alongside Hugh Jackman, she revealed a different dimension: mysterious, graceful, emotionally layered, proving she could command a stage without explosive stunts. Then came her transformation into Lady Jessica in Dune, where her performance radiated maternal strength, spiritual intensity, and strategic brilliance. That role was not just acting, it was embodiment. She didn't simply play Lady Jessica, she became the emotional spine of an epic universe, holding scenes together with subtle glances and restrained power. What separates Rebecca Ferguson from many stars is her refusal to chase visibility. She chooses roles carefully, prioritizing complexity over quantity. She once spoke openly about refusing projects that did not respect her or her time, a bold move in an industry that often pressures women to accept everything. That courage to say no is part of her success story. She teaches us that ambition does not require desperation. Confidence does not require arrogance. Strength does not require aggression. Her journey reminds every dreamer watching that slow growth is not failure, it is preparation. She did not explode into fame at 18. She matured into it layer by layer, role by role, building credibility so solid that when she entered major franchises, she stood as an equal, not a newcomer begging for approval. Even in interviews, there is something grounded about her energy, no frantic need to impress, no manufactured persona, just authenticity. And authenticity is magnetic in a world saturated with performance. Rebecca Ferguson's rise is proof that talent paired with patience outlasts hype. It proves that quiet determination can be louder than noise. It proves that sometimes the most powerful presence in the room is the one that does not need to announce itself. From Sweden to Hollywood, from small screens to global blockbusters, her journey is not just about movies. It is about self-belief, boundaries, discipline, and the unwavering decision to grow on your own terms. She stands today not merely as an actress, but as a symbol of controlled power, emotional intelligence, and artistic integrity. And this is only part one of her unstoppable rise, because Rebecca Ferguson's story is not about a single breakthrough moment. It is about continuous evolution, fearless choices, and the quiet fire that turns potential into legacy. Success did not slow Rebecca Ferguson down. It refined her, sharpened her instincts, and deepened her commitment to meaningful storytelling. And what makes her evolution so compelling is that with every global premiere, every red carpet flash, and every billion-dollar franchise, she somehow appears more grounded, more intentional, more aware of who she is and what she stands for. After solidifying her global recognition through Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, and later returning stronger in Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning Part 1 alongside Tom Cruise, Rebecca could have easily allowed herself to be permanently defined by the action genre. Yet she resisted that comfortable box and instead pursued roles that stretched her psychologically and emotionally, proving that longevity in Hollywood belongs to those who evolve rather than repeat. When she stepped once again into the desert world of Dune, Part 2, her portrayal of Lady Jessica matured into something even more commanding, almost mythic in intensity, embodying a mother navigating prophecy, power, and sacrifice, and audiences felt the depth of her transformation because she does not act from the surface. She acts from within, from a place of research, reflection, and empathy. Then came her work in Silo, a series that allowed her to explore a completely different kind of leadership, one rooted not in spectacle but in quiet rebellion and intelligence. And once again she demonstrated that her greatest strength is subtle authority, the kind that does not demand attention yet commands it fully. Rebecca Ferguson's career choices reveal a philosophy: never shrink to fit expectations. In interviews, she has spoken about standing up for herself on set, about refusing to accept disrespect, about insisting on collaboration rather than intimidation, and that transparency resonates deeply in an industry where silence has too often been mistaken for professionalism. Her bravery extends beyond the screen. It is present in the way she protects her family life from unnecessary exposure, the way she values motherhood without allowing it to be used as a marketing headline, and the way she prioritizes mental balance over constant visibility. She is a rare example of someone who understands that fame is a tool, not an identity. The difference between popularity and legacy lies in intention, and Rebecca Ferguson's intention has always been clear: grow artistically, remain authentic, and choose strength over noise. What truly inspires about her journey is not just the awards, the premieres, or the collaborations with directors like Denis Villeneuve. It is the discipline behind the scenes, the rehearsals, the physical training, the emotional preparation, the hours spent understanding a character's psychology before stepping into costume. She reminds us that excellence is invisible work, made visible. For aspiring actors watching her path, her story delivers a powerful lesson. Your accent, your background, your timing, your unconventional beauty, none of it disqualifies you if you carry conviction. She did not conform to Hollywood's narrow blueprint of stardom. She expanded it. Even now, as her influence grows, she does not chase trends or social media theatrics. She builds credibility quietly, role after role, proving that depth will always outlast hype. There is something deeply modern yet timeless about her energy. She embodies independence without hostility, vulnerability without weakness, ambition without desperation. And perhaps that is why audiences trust her in every universe she enters. Whether it is high-stakes espionage, intergalactic prophecy, or dystopian survival, Rebecca Ferguson's journey is not the story of overnight fame. It is the story of strategic growth, personal boundaries, fearless choices, and the understanding that true power lies in knowing who you are long before the world applauds you. As her filmography expands and her performances grow even more layered, one truth becomes undeniable: she is not just participating in Hollywood history. She is shaping it, scene by scene, with quiet intensity and unwavering purpose, and her story continues not as a fleeting chapter of celebrity culture, but as an evolving legacy of resilience, discipline, and artistic courage that inspires anyone who believes that strength does not have to shout to be heard. What makes Rebecca Ferguson's journey even more Powerful is not just the roles she accepts, but the energy she refuses to tolerate, the compromises she declines, and the expectations she quietly dismantles simply by standing firm in who she is. Because beyond the cameras and blockbuster universes lies a woman who understands that longevity in an unpredictable industry depends less on chasing applause and more on protecting your inner stability, and that awareness has become her greatest advantage as her career moves from strength to strength. After conquering major franchises like Mission Impossible, Fallout, and deepening her cinematic presence in the epic scale of Dune under the visionary direction of Denis Villeneuve, she reached a point where she no longer needed to prove her capability.